anything.
So I'm writing a paper on my honors thesis for, I guess, research purposes for an extra class. And I am writing a short portion of my trilogy, which is based in the fantasy science fiction universe. And if I was going to try to search for some sources that I could get information from, I would most likely start with Google. And if I can type today, and I would probably start with searching, for example, dragon mythology. In general, Wikipedia usually is a good place to start. I guess because it pulls a lot of information together, and if you really want to see that Wikipedia is actually updated and is kind of a live dictionary, then at the bottom of a Wikipedia page it'll tell you when the last time something was updated was. Like, for example, I clicked on list of dragon mythology, and at the bottom of this page it says it was last modified February 15th of 2015. So for example, we can start, this page is like divided into dragon mythology by, I guess, countries, and Eastern, Asian dragons, European dragons, and then I guess in the US. So maybe, for example, let's start with the first one. So Chinese dragon is a creature in Chinese mythology that also appears in Asian culture and is sometimes called the Oriental or Eastern dragon, depicted as a long snake-like creature with 4 claws, or 5 for the imperial dragons. It has long been potent symbol of auspicious power in Chinese folklore and art. The type of dragon, however, is sometimes depicted as a creature constructed of many animal parts. It might have fins of a fish and the horn of a stag. In Japanese mythology, the dragon is, the literal translation of the dragon is a seahorse, and I just figured that out because a friend of mine showed me an anime of the Chinese zodiac, and they had, based on the Chinese zodiac, which Japanese anime also uses, and the guy that transformed into a dragon ended up as a tiny seahorse. And then we started looking up all of this lore about dragons. So if I'm reading here, I would skim this on Chinese dragons, but since I've already skimmed it, so if I found something interesting, I would click on one of these links. But if I wanted some more information, I would go to the bottom, because at the bottom of this article there are references from where this information was basically pulled. Like, for example, I tend to like things that are like published by, not that I necessarily trust them 100%, but like, for example, BBC or CNN or things like this about excavations or books, or so for example, this BBC article is about the fiery debate over Chinese dragons. Chinese internet users have stirred a heated debate over the status of dragons seen as national symbols. The problem, some academics allege, is that Chinese people and Westerners have very different concepts of dragons. Chinese dragons are supernatural symbols without the Western traits of aggression or maiden eating. The debate began with a Shanghai professor who claimed Western views of dragons could give people a negative impression of China, but some 90% of the respondents to a Chinese website survey disagree. So I would probably continue. So if I was taking some notes on the different ways that dragons are viewed, for example, because I'm trying to decide how to represent the dragons in my particular trilogy, I would, for example, say, write something like, and I would summarize this. Sometimes I'd copy from the website, but sometimes I can just summarize it. Chinese dragons. Different from Western dragons. Lack aggression. Viewed as supernatural, mythological creatures. So maybe I would continue. Whoops. Come on, you. There we go. This poor mouse pad.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's like, it just decided I'm calling it quits. That's it. Okay, so maybe I would go back and maybe see what, Western maybe some ideas about European dragons are. So, for example, Catalan, Scandinavian, Welsh, English, so maybe like, for example, English dragons. Let's see this in Wikipedia now. I don't even know how to say that. Wyvern, way too many consonants, not enough vowels. Sometimes spelled Wyvern, is a legendary winged creature with a dragon's head, which may be said to breathe fire or possess a venomous bite, and wings, a reptilian body, the two legs sometimes none, and our barbed tail, a sea-dwelling variant dubbed the sea Vyron, has a fish tail in place of a barbed. Okay, so this is English mythology on dragons. The usual spelling is not attested before the 17th century as winged two-footed dragons. It is an alliteration of Middle English in the 13th century and Old French. And heraldry is a frequent change in English. Heraldry, and wow, I don't even know this word. I probably need a dictionary now. Also occasionally appearing in support or, so basically talking about the use of dragons in crests or logos. I think maybe not too terribly helpful. So maybe I can look back in Google and maybe say dragons in literature, maybe in modern literature, so we don't get something like the Bible or Charlemagne's expositions on fighting a giant crocodile. Here be dragons, Maybe going down this. Let's see. A massive list of dragons and dragon stories. That sounds helpful. Possibly. Ooh. Okay, let's see. You guys are amused. See, I missed my calling. You should have been a comedian. Okay, let's see. Okay, so now we have all kinds of dragons, some even from, like, I think, Egyptian mythology, looking at these names, like a Pepi, Egypt, Roman god, so, Bacchus is considered to be a dragon. He's the god of wine. I don't think that that is accurate, seeing as how, but okay, we're stretching the truths here. Ooh, bride chamber shorts. That's some kind of dragon. Bride is a monster. It's an interesting name for it. See, now I could think of, like, all these dragons' names. So let's see if somebody has been, unique in naming their dragons. Maybe if we do, like, Control F. Nope. So I know a little bit about dragons, naming dragons, and I think that they're, in older mythology, like Greek, Roman, Egyptian mythology, they were named for, like, for example, waves. If we talked about Poseidon, like the god of the sea, then he would ride dragons, which were called waves or something. In Egyptian mythology, they were, like, deities, various smaller deities, and, so when I chose the names for my dragons, I kind of chose, the first couple that I chose were completely based on the dragons' personalities, which is kind of been done in a couple of, like, in, Aragon, where he names his dragons sort of like that, based on their personalities. His main dragon is Saphira. So, Grabek. Germany. Great Father. Griffin. Okay, so Horned One. Let's see that one. That's from Ireland. Please visit Elenia the Golden Dragon's Celtic Ireland Scotland page. Okay, so this gives me a link, and I click on it, and this lovely link is not working. So maybe they should update this page slightly. So if I go back to so I usually keep the Google page open, like the first one that I Googled, and then I'll change if I think that, like, I'll change what I've searched in the Google page if I think that I've exhausted what I've searched. So, but if I'm coming down here, like, I usually spend a lot more time, like, on the first 2 or 3 pages, and then afterward it just becomes more and more sporadic, like what information you can find. But, like, for example, maybe the 5th, 6th link on this page, the dragon, its changing figure in medieval and modern English literature. That might be helpful, and maybe not. A lot of people just write random stuff. And clearly I've clicked on a page that has a lot of teeny tiny links. And now I am in hiking boots at the bath shop. This is why you can get so freaking distracted, because, you know, you just click on this ad and all of a sudden you think, maybe I need hiking boots. But you probably don't. You know, all that stuff. Yada yada. Ooh, okay. Back to the task at hand for another 8 seconds. During the Middle Ages, the dragon, the terrible winged serpent of legend and literature, was as much...
I'm dying to know what you think about Smaug. Although my son says it's Smog, not Smaug, but I like the first pronunciation.
No, I think it's right, the first pronunciation.
Well, thank you. Do you like that dragon?
I find him very, very entertaining. I find his interactions with Bilbo very entertaining.
Yeah.
I think that it was made much more entertaining